Hi, today we're going to talk about being an influencer. This is a big topic, not necessarily for me, but it's a big topic. There are literally tens of thousands of videos talking about being an influencer. And a lot of the younger people want to do that as a career. They want to be a brand influencer. In other words, they want to be able to advertise for someone else and get paid for it. And you know what? They have some big names. I mean, my goodness, the Kardashian family, that's really what they do. They're very big on that kind of thing. There's a lot of models, obviously, with different clothing and perfumes and lipstick. You know, you have stuff like that. You have, well, different actors who will do the same thing. I mean, they will, you know, underarm deodorant, all kinds of different foods and whatever. And people will go and buy it because those folks show it off and they say, here, look how much I love this. Let's go buy this. And I know what that's like from the buyer side, although not as much at my age now. When I was a kid, for instance, my favorite baseball player was Roberto Clemente. This goes back a whole bunch of years. And Roberto Clemente used a big, heavy bat. It was heavier than what most other players used. So I had to have a big, heavy bat. The thing is that I was 12, 13 years old and I could swing it, but it made it difficult trying to swing that bat. I really needed something smaller, but nobody could convince me to get a smaller bat. Now, as I got a little older, like around 15 or so, then I got a bat that I could actually grip because Hank Aaron used a bat that was longer, but it was thinner. It wasn't as heavy as Roberto Clemente's bat, and I could get around on that. And okay, I never hit a home run in a game, but I used to hit a lot of homers in practice. So that was just me. And I thought about that, you know, earlier in the week because I said, you know, I really was never influenced to buy anything because someone pushed it and said I should buy that. I did, however, just a couple of months ago, I bought this thing from Little Caesars. It was the calzone thing. And I bought that because there was this guy, Dame Drops, who showed it on his channel. And I said, ooh, that looks good. But here's the thing. I didn't buy it because he recommended it because he talks about all different kinds of foods. I bought it because I looked at it and I said, whoa, I got to have that. And I think in this entire year, for instance, I think that might have been the only time that I saw something that he talked about that I said, you know what, I got to go do that. For instance, when I did the review about the Bang cookies, I hadn't seen anyone do a review on it before I did. Now, after I did my video, then I went to check and I noticed some other people had done videos about those same cookies. So, you know, I'm not necessarily someone who's influenced by an influencer. I'm influenced by something that hits my mind at the time. You know, if someone puts a chocolate peanut butter pie up in front of me, it could be Denzel Washington or it could be my neighbor next door. I'm going to see a chocolate peanut butter pie and my head's going to say, wait, I got to have that. That's how I work. Still, there's nothing wrong with thinking about the process of being an influencer, but what kind of influencer do you want to be? I'm not going to lie. I would love to be some kind of influencer, but I don't want to be a product influencer. If you look back through videos where I've done reviews, well, I've done reviews on different things, but I certainly didn't push anything on anybody. Sure, there may have been a movie where I enjoyed it so much I said, oh, you got to go see this. But that's not really pushing, you know, like a product to go buy it or do anything like that. That's just me saying, wow, I really enjoyed that. But, you know, I'd never have thought about that kind of influencer. Where have I talked about it? I've talked about being an influencer where I've given tips on things that young folks should probably know to do before they get to my age. I've done that. I've given tips on motivation. I've given tips on diabetes. In other words, I give those kind of tips. I would love to be that kind of influencer. I'd like to be the guy who can answer questions for folks that maybe they didn't think of, which seems to be the only way to go because I don't have almost anybody who ever writes me, even, you know, whether they leave a message in a video or contacts me in some other way and says, hey, could you write about blank? Or could you do a video about blank? Because, I might. I'm not going to do anything on new music or new TV because, frankly, I don't know any new music. And I haven't seen a regular TV show, oh my goodness, since 2013. Isn't that a shame? I hate to own up to that, but, that's just me. So there's those types of things where I just can't do it. But like I said, I did something about the bang cookies. I did some cookies from Aldi's that turned out to be pretty good. So, I have things like that aren't as serious, but then I have other things. I did a video where I talked about things that you should know to help take care of people with dementia, because my mother had that. This is just, one of the things that I do. I do try to be entertaining every once in a while, like when I talked about being a wedding singer and when I talked about being a kid in Japan, because, you know what, that's just a story. I find that I tell those stories because when I meet people in person every once in a while, or people who I've been friends with for a while, I will throw something out and they'll say, wait, I don't know that story. Can you tell me that story? So I tell that story. So I share those stories here. I can't share all the stories here. Not that, not that they're salacious or anything like that. It's just that I think that there's certain things that we should all keep to ourselves. And that's the bottom line, because Mitch just said so. I ain't Cold Stone Steve Austin, but some things you can't do. I don't keep this secret that I'm a big Harry Potter fan. So there you go. That's enough for you to know. Obviously, I've done 3 videos on Harry Potter stuff, so you know that. But I think that if you're going to be an influencer in any way, every once in a while you have to try to help people. You have to come up with a topic that someone is going to see at some point and say, you know what, that was a pretty good tip. I think that was helpful. Maybe I can do something like that. And I always think that if I can offer something, for instance, like this video, I'm not telling anyone how to be an influencer. I'm just saying that if your only goal is to get famous so that you can sell products, that's kind of hollow. But if you're trying to get known so that you can offer something to people, suggestions to help make their lives better, and maybe entertain them, that's not a bad way to be an influencer. At least that's my thinking on it. Maybe, I'm still a boomer. I'm on the late side of it, but I'm still a boomer. But that's how I think about things. But let me know your thoughts on this. What kind of influencer do you want to be if you want to be an influencer? And let's face the fact here, if you're doing videos on YouTube, in some way you're hoping to be an influencer. Just own up to it, and we'll move on from there. My name is Mitch Mitchell. Let me know your thoughts. Think about subscribing. I really want some people to subscribe. I'm still aiming for that 1,000 subscriber thing one of these days. Y'all take care.